2024 brings another iteration of the NBA 2K series to the Nintendo Switch with NBA 2K25. And while the game has seen some pretty significant updates on current generation platforms, just how much is left out of the Switch version this year, and is it worth your time? Well, that's exactly what we're here to talk about in this review. Let's get into it. Danny from the Famicast here. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to sub, turn on those notifications, all that kind of stuff. Sign up in the comments down below, and we may read it out on our bi-weekly show called the Famicast. Of course, you can find this review in written form over on our website, thefamicast.com. Today, though, we're diving into NBA 2K25 on the Nintendo Switch in this review. As with last year, while NBA 2K25 is getting, quote, another leap in gameplay with Pro Play, that is not really the case here on the Switch, or in the Switch version of the game. Now, that's not to say things are bad in this version of the game or anything like that. Shooting here still feels pretty solid, and the defense feels almost identical to last year. Now, the shooting mechanics do have a bit of a different visual indicator in my career, but again, nothing really has changed all that much from what I can tell. While 2K25 doesn't feature all of the modes found in PS5, Xbox Series S or X, or PC, such as a W and a couple of other modes, here is what's on offer. You have My Career, My Team, Play Now, My League, and then a few other options there, including 2K TV. I spent the majority of my time with My GM and My Career, but I will say that for those that are into it, My Team is here for those that want to collect player cards and build a team of their dreams or something like that. Now, as for My GM, there's actually a surprising amount of depth here in terms of kind of like modes inside of this. Players can choose to do the following. You can do a standard My League for up to 80 seasons. You have the ability to customize the entire league, all that type of stuff. You can just do My GM, which is basically you take on the role of the GM, you maintain relationships and build up a championship roster. Season, the single season version of My League, Start Today, which is kind of like you continue the NBA season from today, or when it starts, including roster updates, injuries, all that type of stuff. You have the WNBA Season. You can control all 12 teams for a single season here. The WNBA Playoffs. You can customize the WNBA playoffs and play there. And the NBA playoffs. Customize the NBA playoffs. I think this mode is perfect for those looking for a deep NBA experience that can last for easily dozens and dozens of hours. You have control over assigning players, trades, and so much more. Now, of course, you can also choose to play all or none of the games and focus mainly on the management side of things. It's completely up to you. My Career. Now, this mode has always been one of my favorites, but starting with NBA 2K24 on the Switch, My Career has really taken a step back. Now, as with last year, 2K25 doesn't feature any of the storylines or cutscenes that are available now on more powerful hardware. Here, in this game, you get thrown right into the NBA season as a starter on any team of your choosing, regardless of the current roster. It's kind of like a no-nonsense kind of mode. I think this could be appealing to some, but I don't know. It just feels kind of cheap to me. I think part of the fun of this mode for me, and I think many others out there, is working your way up to the starting roster, or in some of the previous games, working your way up from high school, college, or elsewhere to becoming an NBA legend. I think these earlier stages, like high school or college, these served as like a great introduction to the game, especially if you're just building up your My Player from playing the game. Now, going toe-to-toe with NBA stars with a player ranked at 60 can be a little bit tedious and just kind of annoying. I think there will be lots of missed shots, bad passes, all this type of stuff. Depends on your play level, but there is kind of a limit to how good you can be. I think progression here feels about on par with past titles, or maybe just a little bit slower. I don't know. Now, while the story elements are taken away, you still are encouraged, or maybe forced in some way, to play key games throughout the season. Now, these key matchups essentially serve as challenges to see if you're better than the competition. Honestly, I don't think it's really anything too special, but it might serve as a highlight to some. And overall, I think this is kind of like a microcosm of the game this year. This mode is functionally okay, and there is some fun to be had. It just lacks anything special. In lieu of the city, 2K25 on the Switch features the neighborhood, which serves as the online hub for the game. Now, this is a place where your My Player can run around for some training, as well as play other folks competitively online. I've mentioned this in my reviews before, but I'm not really into the online competitive aspect of the 2K series, so I really didn't touch this. It's worth noting that it is here for those that are looking to play others around the globe online. Now, while 2K24 and 2K23 at least had some parity with other platforms. That's not really the case here. Now, I can understand 2K moving away from adding some of these more marquee experiences to a platform like the Switch. I mean, essentially, the lack of modes here makes this almost like a legacy edition, similar to kind of like what EA was doing with the FIFA series on the Switch. And when it boils down to it, NBA 2K25 on the Switch is a roster update with a few tweaks here and there. NBA 2K25 looks almost identical to previous titles released on the Switch over the years. Now, that's not to say things look bad, but the team at 2K has obviously gotten everything they can, or are willing to get, out of Nintendo systems. I think character models still sport quite a bit of detail, the arenas look great, and I think the game runs pretty smoothly for the most part. Now, while playing in docked mode this year, I did notice some slowdown during the gameplay. I don't really recall this happening in previous versions either, at least not to the extent that I was coming across it. I don't really have this in any of the footage here, because really no good way to capture like that. But even with that said, when playing on the TV, I rarely ran into any of these kind of issues. You know, for the record, the game does run at a pretty consistent 30 frames a second on the big screen versus 60 frames a second on some of the other more powerful pieces of hardware out there. You know, also too, I think sound here remains great. You know, there's fully featured commentary, familiar jingles, and a robust soundtrack here too. So again, what's on offer here isn't going to blow you away, especially if you're coming from a more powerful system. NBA 2K25 on the Switch really doesn't bring anything new to the table and finally shows that 2K is ready to move on from the platform. Now, I can understand that, especially with the possibility of Nintendo's next console releasing at some point in 2025. Now, functionally, I think this is still a pretty solid game, but this one can only be recommended to NBA superfans who don't have access to any of the newer platforms. Before biting on 2K25, I would honestly suggest trying to pick up 2K23 or 2K24 just for the addition of Jordan challenges and Mamba moments. Now, if you find this particular game, 2K25, in the bargain bin or on a fire sale on the eShop for less than $10 US, I think it might be worth it. Otherwise, steer clear. As always, thank you guys so much for checking out this video. If you like what you see, please feel free to drop this one a like. If it was helpful in helping you make a purchase or not make a purchase, yeah, please let us know. Giving us a like, comment, anything like that. If you appreciate what we do here, consider dropping us a sub. You know, we got tons of things here on the channel. We got tons of things on our website, exclusives over on our Patreon, all that type of stuff. You know, for more right here on YouTube, we do have a bi-weekly podcast all about gaming in Japan. We got video reviews, looks at Japanese exclusives, and a whole lot more. Again, this is Danny from the Famicast. Thank you guys so much for checking this one out, and we'll catch you later.
Okay, look out! Now! You have to be kidding me.